In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do 3 braided design hairstyles into a ponytail. I decided since I've done all these hairstyles over time, why not compile them so you guys can just watch a full-on video on how to achieve these looks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know if this is helpful. Thank you. I'm going to start off with the snake or zigzag braids right now. Hey Gems, in this video I'm doing snake braid boho ponytail and it turned out so cute. I start off with 4 sections. I parted from ear to ear and down the middle. I'm just showing you guys that. And then from each section I'm going to do a knotless braids just to give her some body to the ponytail, because it's going to be 2 braids per section that you see. So to me, that's not a full ponytail. And I wanted it to be full. So you see right here, I parted it off. I'm going to show you guys how I do the knotless braids, and see that one is done. Now I'm about to show you how I did it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe. Follow me on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, IG, and get to know your girl. Most of my photos of the finished product are on all of those platforms, and other snippets of different things that I do. But yeah, you see I'm about to start off this knotless braid. I didn't want to show you the other one off camera because, you know, sometimes you have to get into the flow, and I just didn't have the angle right. So now you see I'm doing it right here. I do have a braid rack to the side that I am grabbing from. For this hairstyle, I used, I want to say about a pack, if not a pack and 1 bundle, of the Expressions Pre-Stretch number 2 color on her hair. I really feel like I use 1 pack, but you guys know that I prep my hair to the side and I take it out of the packs. But I really feel like I use just 3 bundles of pre-stretched hair, because when it comes to the braids per section of the actual snake braid, I only add in the pre-stretched hair at the ends of her hair. But you see I finished the 4, and now I'm about to just show you guys how I clean up the parts and section off for the 2 sections for each braid. With proper maintenance, meaning maintaining the hairstyle, wearing a shower cap, wearing a scarf at night, this hairstyle can last you about 3 weeks. You have to make sure you oil your scalp and all that good stuff for it to last that long. If you're not tying it down, I would say it could last about 2 weeks or a week, give or take, on the texture of your hair. She has about 4B, 4A hair texture. So if you have a looser curl, most likely if you do not tie it up, it will look a certain way. And you see I just made those sections. But right here, I'm going to show you guys how I did the actual snake braids. It's very easy if you are a seasoned, not a beginner braider. But it is some constant going. You really have to make sure you map out all your parting when doing it. So you will see me part a whole lot for this hairstyle, and you can see I'm using my braiding gel. The braiding gel that I use is the Pure Neat braiding gel. Also, I did not come up with this hairstyle on my own. I did have an inspiration. I will clip in right about here, and you guys can see like, oh, that's the inspiration I went from. It's not my work, but I just loved it. And I was looking for models, but I was like, why not do this on my daughter? Okay. So yeah. And you see right here, I am just making each section for the parts where I'm going to be turning for the snake braids. And I'm just parting it out using the braiding gel to kind of keep those parts in place. And smoothing it in, you have to smooth in that braiding gel or it'll just sit there. But you see I'm just parting, and that's pretty much how I do it. Y'all remember when these snake braids was called freak braids? I hope I'm not the only one that remember that. If you remember when they called this whole new millennium, they were like, I want some freak braids. Or at least that's what they used to say in Michigan, I want some freak braids. If y'all remember, comment below if y'all remember these braids being called freak braids, because I know I'm not tripping. People have turned these new designs into the Alicia Keys braids. This is like, to me, calling it after some type of celebrity wearing it, that type of braid is like, what is going on? I remember on Lemonade Braids, which is braids to the side that's been out forever, people were saying, I want the Beyonce braids, the Lemonade braids. I was like, that's just braids to the side. But but as you can see right here, I am just starting off the braid. I am not going to be adding in any extensions. Like I said, the only braids that have full extensions through it is the 4 braids in the middle of her hair. And that's because, of course, it's a knotless braid. But with these braids, I pretty much braid her natural hair in the cornrow. I do not add any type of extensions until I get to the very end, which is off of her scalp, and I add in the extensions. Also, when you do this hairstyle, you want to make sure you're not being very tight on the scalp, because especially on those curving areas, but just in general, it can cause bumps and hair loss. So you want to make sure you're going to see me pulling against the grain just to make sure it's loose. I try to be conscious myself, because as you're turning and gripping, sometimes I know for me, I'll grab a lot tighter, and I just don't want that to be the issue of her hair having bumps and stuff like that. So you just want to make sure you take your time and you're not rushing the braid. Just take your time as you cornrow, and yeah, but it's really easy. All you're pretty much doing is turning and going all the way to the end, then turning and grabbing for more hair, which is the next section. But you see, I'm just releasing clips as I go, because I did have to have that hair to the side, because you want to make sure you don't end up blending in that hair with your parts. So as you see me go around, you'll see me unclipping, and I'll just be going. Again, you do not want to make this tight. It can hurt really bad. You want it to be firm and put together, but you do not want tight braids, because it'll cause a lot of pulling, and you will see me use a comb and pull against it, if you will. So it'll be loose right there where I turn, because I could tell it was getting tighter as I was braiding. So I just want to make sure you guys know that I was conscious about that when doing this, or at least I know myself as a braider that I can braid tighter than what I really am trying to. So yeah, you're going to see me just doing that. Just take your time, and soon you'll see me start to grab. Once I'm off her scalp, you'll see me start to grab in those pieces, and I started off with small pieces into the braid, but you see right here, you see I pulled against it because that was looking kind of tight. Now it's loosed up, and I'm just feeding in and feeding in. I'm not going to braid it all the way down, because she is getting curls at the end, and I am going to be adding in the boho. You guys know I like to do the quick method with the latch hook, and it's easier when the dipping process happens, especially when you're curling it. I don't have to worry about clipping up the curly strands. I am going to be using synthetic hair, and I will show you guys how I did that. Also, if it looks like I'm hurting my client, I am not. It's just because this video is sped up. I actually was going very slow. I was having a lot of back spasms when doing this hairstyle. So yeah, I don't want you guys to think that I'm hurting my daughter. I'm going to ask her right now, and she's going to tell you guys, my mom does not hurt me.
My mom did not hurt me, but it's like when you have your hair in a ponytail, it can possibly hurt, but she loosened it. But I love my hair, and it probably is very long, so thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to this video and like this video, but I love this style, and when you go on this page, please try to help for us to do more videos for y'all.
So I am showing you guys again how to do the snake braid. I did not show you guys how to do the back, because my daughter was like, my neck hurt, my neck hurt, my neck hurt. So it was just very easy to do this side to show you guys, but it's the same thing. You split it in half, each section, and you just start to do your parts, and that's pretty much how you do it, like you see me doing here. And then you begin the braid. It's not really hard, but if you're a beginner, it can be difficult. So you just want to make sure you take your time and you're not rushing throughout the hairstyle, especially if you're a beginner. And yeah. As I braid, you see I left out that baby hair. It all depends on what your client want. Because I am doing my daughter's hair and she is my model, I pretty much took out the amount of hair I want for the baby hair section. But if you guys are doing someone else's hair, just ask how much and where they would like their baby hairs out. I always ask my clients that when doing their hair. Right here, I am brushing out her ends because you want to make sure when you curl it, you do not have like nappy parts because then it won't look good. But I'm using perm rods. I can actually say the difference between a perm rod and a flexi rod. A perm rod has the curls all identical for the most part. It's not a looser part. I notice when I use flexi rod, no matter how tight I do it, it still isn't a consistent curl the way that I like it. So the perm rods, it doesn't move. It's just not going to slip. It's not going to move. It's tightly on the rod. And I want her curls to be together and tight. You can also get different sizes for your perm rod. So if you want like a bigger curl, I do have those. But this one I wanted like a medium curl. So that's why I'm using these type of perm rods. Don't get me wrong. I still love using the flexi rods. It still comes out really good, but I love me some good perm rods. Like I do. And for the most part, with the flexi rod, you can put more on it, more braids on the actual rod than you most likely can for a perm rod set. But either or, whatever curlers, rollers you have, they will all work. Of course, I'm using hot water. Make sure you have all the safety precautions you need to have when dipping your hair in hot water. You want to make sure you have a towel. Make sure you do not get your client wet, etc., because this water is hot and you can burn someone. And you can see right here, I am unraveling. You're going to see how tight this curl is. Do you see it? Like, the curls is giving. It's giving, okay? It's nice and tight, just how I wanted it. And yeah. So before I put her hair into a complete ponytail, I do oil the scalp completely, especially in that middle, because y'all know when y'all have a ponytail, sometimes it be itching up in that middle. You be like, ah, ooh, ooh, ah. Usually it'll be really dry and stuff like that. So I want to make sure she's not having any itchy moments. So I'm just oiling her scalp really good, making sure it's nice and moisturized, because you want to make sure you do that when you do any type of braiding. So if you're a braider or you're not doing it, you got to start doing it, because it really helps for so many reasons. Now, this is what my daughter was talking about. As far as making a ponytail, you do not want it tight because you'll be pulling too much. So I did have to go in and loosen up for her, because I noticed like it was pulling back, onto her from her scalp, and I did not want that. So once I loosened each braid around, which I did not show on camera because that was something that happened after, I was done taping and this was wrapped, but I did loosen up because I could see like, wow, it's pulling from your ponytail. So it loosened up and she was like, I can breathe now. So yeah, you can, even if you braid loose, it still can be tight and you don't want it that way. So make sure you pull the opposite way and loosen up that ponytail. And you see, this is how I do the boho look. I just use my crochet needle and I just do a little slip knot. I like to place the curly hair under the braid so you don't see the little knot. But this gave it the fullness that I love. I used the Beach Curl Free Tress, which is my favorite synthetic hair that I like to use. Everything that I use will be in the description box below, along with the link where you could just click it and order it. I am a little affiliate for Amazon, so I would appreciate it if you guys use the link. And yeah, but you see, I showed you guys in slow motion. Now I'm speeding it up on me just adding in that boho curl. I'm telling you, when you add the boho curl and then put it in a bun, oh my God, it's eating up. As a matter of fact, I will have some pictures of how it looked in a bun on my Instagram. So you guys go and follow me on there. My handle will be in the description box below of my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Facebook. Either way, the picture of it in a bun will be on my Facebook and my Instagram. And you guys can see like, wow, this is cute in a pony and in a bun.
This is the finished product. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you love this hairstyle as much as I do.
In this video, I'm showing you how to do this top bun with this tribal look design. I am starting off with, of course, you guys know I already started it and sectioned it. So I am starting off with my first, I want to say, fourth of this hairstyle. I've already braided in the triangular parts to this hairstyle, and I'll just simply be showing you how I feed it in the small triangle braids into the cornrow. One of the reasons why I did do one section off camera is because, one, I had to figure out exactly what I was doing. I literally woke up and said, I think I'm going to do a top bun on you because it'll be easy and we can just get it done. And that's pretty much how this hairstyle went. On the other side, I will be showing you guys how I did the design that I'm doing right now that I'm actually braiding down. I did not add in any extension hair right away. I am using the hair tinsels to give that pink effect. I really love these hair tinsels. I found them at the hair store, and I think that the sparkle braids were like short-lived because I didn't see a whole lot of people talking about them, and I think it came out during COVID. So of course I'm using the little sparkle razzle dazzle for this hairstyle. But you see I clipped it off because I'm going to feed in hair that I have on my braiding rack. Everything that I use will be in the description box for this hairstyle. And yeah, you just see me doing the 1/4 of what I have to finish. And I'm just pretty much showing how I did the whole entire process. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys know when I'm posting and you can get all the good tea on that. I also want to take the time out to do some shout outs. Yes, I'm going to be doing random shout outs throughout my channel. Just letting you guys know that I see you guys and that I appreciate all the love. Rather I've shouted you out in this video or previous videos before. Either way, I'm just doing them randomly. But I appreciate everyone that has subscribed, followed me, liked stuff, commented, all that good stuff. Follow me on other platforms as well. And subscribed, of course. So the subscribers that I'm shouting out in this video will be T-Girl, Lena Andrews, Kiona DeSola, I believe. I hope I pronounced that correctly. TNT Mommy and Me, and Maya. So thank you guys for subscribing, watching. I really appreciate you. I will be throwing your channels down in my description. So if anybody want to go subscribe, y'all go ahead and subscribe to them. But yeah, thanks for showing me love. And again, to any other subscribers, I really appreciate you guys as well. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. But I will be doing random shout outs. I am trying to get members. So if you become a member, you get all these different things. Like you'll have some questions that we can do some like members only, you know. I can answer some private questions, videos only for members. So become a member of my gym family. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I just wanted to give out a special shout out. But now you see I am on this side of the top part of her head, and you're pretty much I'm showing you guys how I created I want to say tribal design in a way, because it's got these different, it has like this pattern look, but this design in general, it's really easy to do this design, so I hope it's not hard for you guys to follow. Please let me know if it was hard or if it was easy, but I pretty much just do triangles and I braid them in the way that I want them to fall. So the way that you see me braiding this is the way I want this one to slide into that braid. And then I'm going to do another triangle, and that's going to go the opposite way. You want to make sure you braid it in the way that you're going to cornrow it into the cornrow. So you see I have flipped over to the other side, and I am going to start braiding that individual triangle because I want it to go into that cornrow. And you pretty much just go back and forth like so, like that. And yeah, I use the braiding gel to just pretty much clean it up. As you guys notice in my videos, I don't really use a lot of braiding gel, only really to clean up any type of parts and things like that. Maybe get a little flyaways, but I try not to put it throughout the entire person's hair because I just don't want a whole bunch of product. And yeah, but this hairstyle is fairly easy, self-explanatory just from watching it. And yeah, you see I'm just going back and forth. You want to make sure you leave out enough hair to do the triangles. I didn't want to do super tiny because tiny can sometimes mean breakage. Also, I'm not hurting my client. I know sometimes the video can give an illusion that I am being super hard, but I'm not. It simply looks that way because I've sped up the footage, and sometimes it looks like I'm being very, very rough, but you'll know if I'm being rough. You'll literally see. Sometimes I can't help if my client's face is looking like ouch, you know, because that all depends on the sensitivity. But you see my model, aka daughter, she's not even moving or showing any discomfort. So yeah. So I do want to also say that you want to make sure you pre-part this hairstyle. Each section or each big cornrow did not have the tribal look to it. So I do want to say that before I did this hairstyle, I pretty much knew how many big cornrows and how many sections I was going to have to do the tribal triangle design. So you want to make sure that you make sure you graph that out before doing this hairstyle. Throughout this hairstyle, I was really battling with, did I want to do a design in the back like so? And I eventually came to some type of decision. So yeah. I did decide to do a triangle down the middle, and it was very easy. I just parted it down the middle, and then I parted it each on each side. But yeah, in total, she had four on each side, half of her head, big cornrows, and she had three triangle designs. With this section, I am not adding in the triangle tribal look, if you will. I'm simply just going to be sleeking this down and doing a cornrow, going into the middle. I also want to say, make sure you're not having these braids tight because you do not want to have tension pulling into a ponytail. And yeah, I was just thinking like, man, really make sure you are not being super heavy and tight on your client's head. So now that I'm done with the cornrows, I am now adding in the extension hair mixed with the tinsels. You literally take the tinsels and mix it in your braiding hair, and I'm grabbing from my braiding rack and I'm just feeding it in. People think sometimes you have to just feed it in from the cornrow. You really don't. Like, not at all, because sometimes that can make it look too bulky and too thick of a braid. The only time I recommend adding it throughout the cornrow is if your client doesn't have thick hair like my client, aka daughter, does. So I don't really have the need to feed in any hair to match the density of anything because her hair is just so thick. So I don't have to add it in automatically. So if you're doing a client hair that has thick, luscious hair and curls like her, you can literally just add it at the end just to give it some length and some volume. So when the bun is formed, it is nice and full and not thin. But if your client's hair is thin, and when you're doing the cornrows, you want to feed in the braiding hair to make it get thicker as you go through it and to also add on that extra length. But in her case, I don't have to do that. Once I get done braiding it all down, you see me dipping it. I am not dipping it super far throughout the braid because I don't want to hit her hair. And if you're wondering why the color of the boiling water is pink, it's because of the tinsels, obviously. It's taking the color out of it, the boiling water, but they go fine. It doesn't do anything to the tinsels. And then I add some mousse just to make sure it lays firm and stays. And I just put that all around her hair. I also want to say when you're doing the boiling water set to straighten the ends, make sure you're using a towel and you're using caution because that can turn to, and make sure you're old enough because that can really burn you. And I don't want you to look back on this video and say, well, she said to use boiling hot water. If you're a kid and you're watching this video or you're using boiling water for the first time, you want to make sure that you have a towel, some gloves, whatever you need to make sure you do not burn yourself because you do not want a burn from this boiling water. And here's the finished product, finished look. It turned out really cute. Now we're going to move on to this other braided ponytail, which I am showing you how I make up the sections for each part of her hair, and which is all of what you can do for all of the hairstyles that I've shown you in this video so far. But this is pretty much how I create the sections, and I put that circle in the middle because I want an extra couple of braids, which is 4 extra braids, just to make the ponytail a lot thicker. But I pretty much just showed you how to do a braided foundation as far as pre-parting it and getting it ready to go. Right now you see me doing a knotless braid. That is what that circle is for, the 4 sections. You want to do knotless braids so you'll have a fuller ponytail, as I said before. And I'm just braiding it down and braiding it down how I would like to have it. I'm not doing any curling or anything until the very end of this video. But yes, that's what I'm going to be doing with that middle part with the 4 sections. And I'm just showing you how I do that, like so. Once I am done braiding it down, I'm going to put that into a ponytail and I'm going to move on to the back. I am doing a heart-shaped braid and I love doing these braids. It's super cute. I'm pretty much showing you how you do a heart-shaped braid. I created the heart and then I split it down the middle. Then I made a part for the little arch so you can braid it and turn it around into the heart shape that it is. And you're just following the outline of your initial part of the heart. And that's pretty much how you do a heart-shaped braid. I'm not really adding in any hair yet. Not until I get to the very end, which is right here. And then you see me adding in the braiding hair. And these 2 braids will be hanging down. This heart shape is not going to be connected as 1 braid. It's going to be connected as 2 braids, which you'll see me do. You want to just make sure you're braiding it down. And once I get done doing the heart braid, I am going to secure it by sewing it down, which you'll see throughout the video. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe, that notification bell so you know when I'm posting. I am doing more videos where I am putting more styles into one video so you don't have to go searching and looking all throughout my channel. But in those videos, when I do post it, most likely it has more detail because those videos were made when I did it, the actual hairstyle. So most likely it has more detail in it, maybe even some music. So yeah, that's back when I was doing it in the early days. So yeah, but as you can see, I'm just braiding it and then I'm feeding it some hair. And yeah, that's pretty much how you do a heart braid. If you have any questions about how to achieve and would like something more slowed down to see how to actually do a complete heart braid, please let me know in the comments below. Everything that I use will also be in the description below. It will be 3 different descriptions of what I used in each hairstyle because at certain times of the year I was starting off with certain products and then wasn't using that product anymore. So yeah, but it all turned out good. It's just now I have certain products that I just go by. If it's not broke, why fix it? So that's pretty much how I look at it. Before I was kind of trying out some new stuff. I was getting back in the swing of braiding because it had took a while after COVID for me to get back in the swing of it. But now I'm back. So yeah, but now you see me just braiding it down. Another cornrow, and these are more cornrows than you've seen in the other styles that I've done, and I'm just pretty much showing you step by step on how I achieve this look. Because I don't want thick and bulky braids, you see that I am not feeding in hair at all. When I'm starting the braid, I do it more towards the end where I'm getting off of the scalp, and that's when you'll see me start to feed it in, simply because her hair is thick and because it's no need for me to put in extensions if I don't have to. It's going to last the same amount of time. This hairstyle lasted about 3 weeks, which is what I would suggest anyway. And this is with proper care and maintenance. That means oiling and moisturizing your scalp, wearing a scarf, not a bonnet, a scarf to hold down the braids every night, and like I said, shower cap when bathing and showering because you don't want to get your hair wet. If you do get your hair wet, which you can, you want to make sure that you rinse out the chlorine, number one, and you make sure you dry it properly. I would suggest if you're going swimming earlier in the day, you want to make sure you let it air dry throughout the night. You don't have to necessarily wear a scarf or a bonnet because that will create mildew and you want the hair to properly dry, or you can blow dry it on a low setting to dry all the hair. And yeah, you can go swimming with this hair, but I would suggest Once it dries, go right back into the routine. Make sure you moisturize it and go right back into the routine of how you maintain it, which is a scarf at night. So that is my recommendation when doing this hairstyle. And with all of these hairstyles, that is the maintenance and care you want to use when wearing braids in general. You don't want to just be rubbing your braids out, not tying it down, because that does not create longevity. And braids are a protective style. For some, may say there's another argument that is talked about if it's a protective style, if it's not a protective style. I honestly think that braids are a protective style because you do not have to comb your hair and manipulate it every day. You're literally just letting it grow in place. But in order for it to really be called a protective style, you have to do the proper care and maintenance. People think that when you get braids, you don't need to maintain it, you don't need to oil your scalp, you don't need to moisturize it with anything, and that is simply not the case. And that is when the argument of it, some people saying it not be a protective style, come into place. And that's simply because people are not taking care of their hair. They just think, oh, I'm going to keep my hair in braids and I'm not going to maintain it, and or they're rocking super tight braids or rocking braids on hair, like I want to say life support hair, meaning hair with a lot of breakage and etc. And they don't take care of it. So you want to make sure you definitely take care and maintain the healthiness of your hair when you're wearing braids. And that is my advice on that. But you can see I pretty much am completing the whole back portion of her hair. And the reason why I started with the back is because that's where the design is, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough braids on how I wanted it to look a certain way. I did not pre-part for this hairstyle. I did have an idea for each section that you see me break up of how many braids will go into each section. But of course, when it's a design, you pretty much go with the flow of the person's head. So that's pretty much what I did. Some parts may be the exact width. Some may be a little smaller for certain braids. As you've seen that crisscross that I did right there in the middle, right above the heart. But now I am moving to the front, and I pretty much, probably most likely in my head, I'm not, since you guys can't see what's in my head, I've already mapped out like one, two, you see I got two braids here. So most likely it'll probably be like four braids on one side, maybe five, give or take, and then the other side will be about the same. But right now I am creating the crisscross braid that you've seen on the picture, and it's pretty easy. You just part off two cornrow sections, and then you split those sections in halves, and you just pretty much get ready, and you split them off at the same part because you want to crisscross at the same part, what you see I'm doing right here. And that is pretty much how you create a crisscross braid. You just follow along the part, and you just braid it down and go into the angle of the crisscross. So I hope this all makes sense, and I hope you really enjoy how I am showing you guys how to do this hairstyle. Let me know in the comments if it was hard. I also did add a little triangle part at the side just to add into that cornrow, simply because that hair would have been sticking out, and I was like, we got to find a way to manipulate it and put it in there. And you see I did that. Which is really why I say sometimes you need to pre-part, is because little sections like that, you'll be like, oh man, where are you going to go? This little piece of hair. But when you're a seasoned braider like me, you pretty much know how you can flip a style, make it look like you freaked it up. And when I say freaked it up, I mean like a design, you know. So I put the little triangle in, tucked it into that cornrow, and then you're going to see me do the other crisscross side right here on the other side. And voila, you see the crisscross. Very easy. I told you guys it's not hard to achieve crisscross braid. If you are having a hard time and just thinking too hard, it's really not that hard. It's really easy. It's just splitting parts into halves and then crisscrossing them as you go. Some people are just like, I don't know how to do a crisscross braid. Well, now you know. Your girl have showed you. If you learned how to do a crisscross braid in this tutorial, please let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you're going to be using the same format when doing ponytail braided hairstyles. I also want to say I did not leave out any type of baby hairs, for real, for real. I mean, she has grown up hairs in a sense, but the little hairs I do see that's just on her forehead, I did swoop, so I did not make like a mental thought of like, let me leave out some baby hairs. One, because she is a child and she don't really care for things like that, particularly at this age. You can actually see the evolution of my daughter and how much she's aged throughout this entire video. This is actually, if I wanted to say, going backwards in time, because the first video is more of her now, then the middle one was her then, and then this one was even longer than that. So you can pretty much see the evolution of her growth and all those good things. But yeah, I did not leave any baby hairs, as you've seen in the video, the first video, where she's much older and she does care about those things just a little bit. But yeah, I did not add in any type of baby. I didn't incorporate that in the look. It just kind of happened based off of her little baby hairs in the front, like real baby hairs in the front. So yeah, but if you want, you can leave out some baby hairs. I just didn't feel need to. Also, I did tie off the ends because the ends will be curly. So if you see me tying a knot, that's simply because I am at a certain point. That's because I am going to be curling these ends. And you see, I'm just going with the flow of the design in her head, and I'm just pretty much braiding it down. I just want to let you guys know that I also did not think of an identical pattern in this hairstyle. Only thing that's identical is most likely the hearts in the back and a couple other sections, but for the most part, I just went with the flow of a random design based off the sections, and I just created the look like that. I wasn't intentionally trying to do an identical pattern. To be honest, identical patterns can sometimes drive you crazy because you really have to make sure you have it panned out exactly how you want it and make sure that everything is looking the same. And as you know, everyone's head is not identical. Well, your head is not identical in itself, but it's close enough. But yeah, I pretty much went how her hairline is. I didn't want to put any strength, any type of tension on it. So yeah, I just went with the flow of her scalp and just created the braids based off of that. With this section now, I am sewing down her heart parts, her heart braids, if you will, simply because I do not want those to move at all. I literally got this. They have a sewing kit at the Dollar Tree that you can buy, or you can buy it off Amazon. I'll have that in the link below. But it's pretty much very easy. You just create a knot at the end, then you sew it down. And that's pretty much what I did to keep these two in place. When you take down this hairstyle, or when you do any type of sewing down, you have to make sure when you're taking it down to cut the string, because you'll be sitting there like, why isn't this coming apart? And it's simply because it is sewn down. And you see now it is laying flat, and that is pretty much how I want it to lay. And I'm just going in and out with the needle to really secure and make sure that it is down. And I'm going to create a knot once I am done to secure it in place. And then I'm going to cut the extra string off. You want to make sure you do not poke your client. So be very careful when using your needle. And now you're going to see me create the knot. Now you see me, I am now curling the ends. I'm using perm rods. You really can use any type of curler set that you want. Some people decide to use flexi rods. Some people like perm rods. I like perm rods because it'll be the same curl, like tight curl throughout the entire thing. And then with the flexi rod, sometimes it can look a little looser depending on how you roll it up there, but they give the same result, same cute result. I feel like it's much more tighter with the perm rods though, but for the most part, the curl pattern is always still the same. And then you just want to make sure you take caution and you have an adult, or if you're a child or you are using a towel like you see me do like so. I did not burn my client because I'm making sure I'm using all the precautions. So I said that again earlier, but I'm just reminding you guys that when you are dealing with hot water, you want to make sure that you are using the proper things to not burn yourself or your client. And you see I'm just unraveling them. They set pretty quickly. You don't really have to let them sit for a time. Once they hit the hot water, it's pretty much set. And then you see me separating, and I'm going to start trimming them up just to make sure they're at least the same length and don't have any knots or any small tiny hairs that just don't make sense. Remember when I told you I didn't leave on no baby hair? She has some little natural baby hairs. That's pretty much what we're working with right here. And you see I'm just laying them down, and I'm just making a look all cute and nice for this hairstyle. She has her own little natural baby hairs where I really don't have to do much. Thank goodness. Because I am not a baby hair allergist. You see, I just swooped that back up. I'm trying to tell y'all, I am not a baby hair allergist. Usually I like my oldest daughter to do baby hairs because she is a baby hair allergist. For real, for real. Now I am tying it in a ponytail, but I am also using a braid to wrap around the base just so you don't see the ponytail holder. But you can actually get some little boho, or what they call them, like they're like big bubble things you can put on the hairstyle and give it a little flavor if you're doing this hairstyle on a kid. But this is how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoy all of these videos on how to do ponytails, braided ponytails. And if you want to see some more videos, you can click them right now. Thanks for watching. Bye.